Welcome back to the aowhodis podcast, episode 14. I am pumped. We were on hiatus. I'm sure you all were so worried. I'm joined by my co-host here, Owen.
Yeah, it feels so surreal being back. I'm gonna be fully honest with you.
I know, me too.
I don't. It's weird.
I know,
it's weird.
dude. Look at the professionalism. Though.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
got a table.
We upgraded.
New character unlocked. Table.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to start off today by this has been very top of mind for me recently.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw the title. You guys saw the brilliantly crafted thumbnail, dude. I've been looking at so many of these AI things,
Mm-hmm.
and do you know what I'm most afraid of?
What's that?
I am most afraid of waking up one morning, looking up, and seeing an individual on top of me, but it isn't a girl, and it definitely isn't a guy. It's a robot with a knife in his hand, getting ready to stab me because it knows that I am not a good, fulfilling, and like positive member of society. It knows that I'm a net negative.
Do you see this happening in your lifetime? Is this something you think about often?
So this is interesting because I was doing some research before this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quick Google search. It was like 2 minutes long. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm probably wrong. I was doing some research, and do you know the term singularity?
Yeah.
Explain it, because for the
Okay.
audience.
Well, let's see if I can explain this right. So singularity, I mean, referring to the AI, is essentially, I believe, the point in time where the AIs, it's not that they gain awareness, which I think is what a lot of people are normally scared of, is like, AIs becoming aware. But I believe the singularity is when they, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's when the AI actually come together and start working together, I thought, where they all kind of form into one AI being, where they have their own
Voltron
compass.
AI.
Seriously.
No, it's
or like
well,
Ultron
yes,
from Marvel.
kind of. So the singularity is the point when AI passes humans as like the dominant species.
Really?
Well, maybe not the dominant species, but just like apparently like when they pass humans as far as like importance. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
And apparently, I was reading some data. Guess how many years away we're projected to be?
Realistically, I'd say we're still about a decade away.
10 years?
A decade? Is that 10? Or is that
Century,
decade?
bro.
Oh, yeah, a century away. There you go.
Bro, 20 years.
20 years away?
20 years is the projection from when the singularity is going to occur.
I see. Well, to your definition, it sounds like the singularity can be defined in multiple ways. Like, who gets to decide if AI is more important than humans, right?
Maybe,
like, what does that mean?
Maybe more important wasn't a good thing. Maybe like, well, from what I actually understand, and then so I was very confused when 20 years seems a little early.
Yeah.
The singularity is the point where AI does pass humans as the dominant, like AI becomes the dominant, like force on Earth. You know what I'm saying? And
How so?
I don't know.
I mean, I have my own definitions of that, but I feel like that can vary from person to person. Like I can say AI can code, but that doesn't mean, like, I can say AI can code better than humans, which I don't think is true at this point. I'm confident, but I don't think that means that they should be replacing humans at coding. You know what I mean? Like they still make mistakes.
Okay.
Like humans can still be more adaptable. So to me, like choosing when the AI kind of surpasses humans, that's sort of a subjective opinion, I suppose.
That's a good point.
And I'm sure there's some well laid out definition on singularity out there, which we don't know
could
about.
Probably just Google, but
Right.
we did. Well, I didn't prepare much. Okay, so whatever the singularity is, put it in the comment section below.
Yeah.
But
Really.
what I'm trying to get at is, I'm so scared of that happening, of me getting like murdered by a robot in my sleep, dude. Can we just stop the progression of AI? Because I'm so content with like being, ChatGPT and assignments and. Well, I would never do that, but ChatGPT and assignments and like living life, I still need to use my hands, legs, and brain for things, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need a robot to do my laundry. I don't need a robot to kill me in my sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like I think, and I know this is impossible, but I think we should just stop the progression of AI, bro. What are your thoughts?
You sound like my grandpa. Like 40 years ago when technology was starting to come out. It's going to take over the world. Nobody's going to be able to do anything. We're all screwed. And then it came out and we were only halfway screwed. I think this could be something similar with AI. Or at least in our lifetime, I think that that's going to be something like that, you know. I don't think we have. I'm not saying we shouldn't worry and we shouldn't set up preventions now, but I don't think that it's as bad as what people are saying. AI right now is still, it's getting a lot smarter, but it still makes a ton of mistakes. I don't know if you use it that often.
Yeah, dude, it makes a lot of mistakes.
A lot of times I'll end up just Xing out the page because I'm just like these suggestions aren't that great. You know, like it can't even finish this for me. It's still got a lot of flaws. I don't think that's as close.
So
as
you're
you
right,
think.
but think about like 20 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the progression of technology scientifically goes like this. Zweep. Exponential, brother. And so 20 years ago, the iPhone wasn't even a thing. And now I have to use it to get into my dorm room on campus. Like, it's completely integrated. And I think in 20 years, it's going to be even more so with AI. And just for the audience, I did a quick Google search, and actually AI is telling me that the singularity is a hypothetical future point where artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, leading to a rapid and potentially uncontrollable acceleration of technological advancement that humans may not be able to fully comprehend or manage. And so apparently, based on a projection I saw on one website,
20 years.
20 years, and that was made in 2024, so we're at 19,
19
years, bro.
Oh my god.
We're cooked.
I mean,
It's
won't an
GGs.
asteroid cook us by then? I mean, I've heard,
No.
I don't know much about it, but I think
do.
there's an asteroid. Okay,
Dude,
tell me
there's
about
an asteroid coming in 2032. It has I'm sorry, 2032. It has like the percentage keeps increasing, bro.
Yeah.
It started with
That's
like
what I hear.
0.01 or something, and then now it's at like 2 or 3% chance that it'll impact a little line in America. But it won't do too much damage. Like, it's not that bad. Big of a deal.
Really? Okay. But I mean, a couple of days ago, it wasn't even going to hit, and now it's hitting America. What's going to happen in a couple of days? Is it going to hit?
Well, it's not gonna hit America.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna hit like near the equator.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Shut
When I
come
saw
on.
those projections, bro, I'm like,
why is this newsworthy?
I don't know, dude. They can tank it over there.
That'd be pretty cool, though.
They can take it.
I want to watch that. Watching a meteor come down and hit the Earth. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did you ever go to the, I don't know what the line is called, but the solar eclipse, the full eclipse part of America a couple of years ago, where there's some parts of America where it's kind of like a half or only partial eclipse, and then there's one small line where it's straight full eclipse. I want to do something like that for the meteor, where you just get in that perfect spot, where you just get to watch it go down, but still be safe.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Oh,
Wonder how
like in a
much that would be.
plane? Some people watch the solar eclipse from a plane.
Really?
Yeah, I think Logan Paul posted a story watching a solar eclipse from a plane, and it was like as it were, like a big black circle
Right.
engulfing a part of the world.
And he was on a plane. That'd be cool on the ground, in my opinion. I mean, it was, what I remember, it was such a surreal feeling seeing it turn from like fully daytime outside to just, not pitch black, but really dark outside, you know?
Wait, when did
Like,
you experience a solar eclipse?
There's been two in America recently. There was one, not the last one, but the one before that. There was a total eclipse in South Carolina that I ended up going down to.
Oh.
And, you know, me and my family, we took a trip because we wanted to see the full eclipse, so we ended up driving pretty far to get there. And I remember we were actually on a boat at that time, and it was full daytime out, and as the moon got closer and covered the sun, it just ended up getting completely
Did you
dark
wear
outside.
those glasses to like look at it and stuff?
Yeah.
I
The
always
whole
wanted to
the whole
do that,
shebang.
bro.
Whole shebang. It was fun. It was a good time. You know.
That's great.
Yeah. Have you seen anything about the Majorana from Microsoft, the new quantum processor?
I have, dude.
Really?
I have. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Tell
in my
me about
opinion.
it.
So, from what I know, and I haven't actually done as much research on this as I probably should
God,
have.
dude,
talking
we
about this.
suck, bro. We suck. We're going quantum processors and AI, and all we've done is a quick Google
It's not
search.
like we're experts, you know what I mean? How you can't expect me to be an expert.
We
in-
gotta put a disclaimer on the top.
Right.
Everything we're saying is definitely wrong.
Right.
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, noobs talk about like the most, the worst stuff ever. But it seems like it's extremely ahead of its pack in quantum processing in general. From what I've seen, it seems like we were, like, it hasn't been as exponential of an increase in quantum processing. Like, it's very hard to have big jumps in numbers with quantum processing. But from what I've heard, it's like hundreds or thousands of times faster than other quantum computers, which is really exciting. And not just that, it can actually fit in your computer. You know, it's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah.
CPU.
So from
It's
what
thousands of qubits.
Yeah. So from what I understand about quantum processing is that basically the way normal computers work is it's like ones and zeros, and then you go from there,
That's
and
a
then it's
bit.
another.
A bit is
yeah.
1 and 0.
And then it's another one and a zero and another one and a zero. And the reason it's like trillions of those. And then the reason that it takes computers so long to process things is because they have to go from like the one and the zero and then another one and another zero. But with quantum computing, they can do one and zeros at the same time. And so it's like infinity speed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know much more than you do, but it's essentially, I mean, they use either an atom or a photon or something, and quantum mechanics in general, you can either tell how fast it's going or where it's at, and not either. And so these atoms are called like a superposition, right? So it's like a bit is a 1 or a 0, but a qubit is both 1 and 0 at the same time, and that's called a superposition. And so it can just do it exponentially faster than a normal bit. And from what I've heard, the Majoron one is thousands of qubits. And I don't even know how they did that. I should probably look into the science, but that is exciting to me. I mean, imagine.
What is exciting to
having
me is that it's like this big, or way much smaller. It's like this big, right?
Something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
is it like this?
I mean, like double the size of a normal CPU or something.
Dude, that's crazy.
I mean, it might be commercial in the next couple of decades, and that's insane
Probably
to me.
less, dude. Like I think, like everything we assume, like minus 10 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's insane to me. It's finally time to upgrade my 1050.
Bro, I've been. That's what I'm saying.
As soon as that happened, I said that. I was just like, hey, it's time to finally upgrade my PC.
Dude, speaking of quantumness,
Oh, yeah?
I gotta ask you something.
What's up?
And so this has been bugging me recently. Has your toaster been toasting differently?
Let's see. See, my toaster just doesn't toast right in general. I got a really
Alright,
crappy
buddy.
toaster, so it's kind of uneven, but it hasn't been different in the past couple.
Bro, so I was toasting my toast as I do. I have a morning routine, bro. I wake up and I go for my toast. I put 4 even slices of bread in the toaster, and then I toast them.
Right.
And then I take them out, peanut butter, bam, 2 toasted peanut butter sandwiches in the morning.
Beautiful.
And then I've been putting it in as of recently. And I take them out, same time, same everything, and it just toasts differently.
It toasted differently?
It's less toasted sometimes and more toasted other times. And so I have a theory. My theory is that somewhere in deep space, in like deep space, like thousands and thousands, millions of light years away, maybe even billions of light years away, there was a black hole collision. 2 black holes collided, causing a quantum burst of energy, quantumly, okay? And then that burst of energy just bursted everywhere, right? And then as it got to Earth, it wasn't terrible because we're, still alive and such, but it was just bad enough to where it'll change micro things, like toasters toasting differently, phones, phoning differently.
Houses creaking.
Houses
randomly.
creaking, dude. But so that's my theory as to why my toaster's toasting differently.
This sounds very scientific. This seems like a good hypothesis to
Thank
test.
you. I really appreciate that.
I don't know if we have the tools to test it, though. I think we'd have to buy another toaster.
I know, dude. Oh, shoot, dude.
Bruh.
I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Dang it.
But it's, I mean, do you live alone or do you live with other people?
I live with a couple of people.
I think it's called, there's a scientific term for this. I might be using the wrong term.
Here we freaking go, dude. You can tell because of his tone it's about to be a joke.
No, not even. But it's normally, the simplest answer is normally the right answer. I think it's called like Occam's razor. That might be a different scientific position, but it's simply just the simplest answer is normally the answer. So if you have somebody that you live with, he might just be changing it. He might just be using the toaster.
Bro, because I'd be like doing it on like the exact like little corner.
Get real close.
And then I put them in the exact spot too because there's little divots in the toaster. It's a toaster oven. And so, and then and it's different. And it didn't used to be different. It used to always come out exactly the same toast. It was perfectly like toasted.
GBD, golden brown delicious.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But
and
now
it's not because of those black hole quantum.
Yeah. I told that to my teacher, but he just did not believe me. But see, the two black holes.
The black holes ain't my homework, bro. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, that's messed up.
Dude,
So,
I'm sorry?
I was gonna switch it off.
I was literally going to switch it off,
something
too.
completely different.
Rock, paper, scissors, but to see who gets to switch it. Ready?
Rock,
3,
paper,
2,
scissors, shoot. Yes, sir.
Right, buddy,
So
get it.
I got a new Apple Watch recently.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I know you're a big fan, so I don't have anything to say. I'm actually curious. Did you like yours? Because you're a big Apple guy, and I know you used to wear the watch all the time. So what did you actually use it for?
Bro, so it told the time, bro. It was great. Dude, I got the most accurate time you will ever believe. No, so the Apple Watch is a lot. I can't really defend it. As you can see, I'm not wearing it because I kind of stopped wearing it over the past few months just because it's fine. It tracks your steps inaccurately.
Really?
It tracks your calories inaccurate. Everything the Apple Watch does is just very inaccurate. I just liked it as a watch because it was, I don't know, like this is the answer for everything, but it just like blended well with everything else Apple.
Yeah.
And I could, the reason I liked it the most was because I like to keep my phone on silent or else... I'm a really popular guy, so I'm just gonna get blown up all the time. But with
those Taco Bell notifications,
with Canvas notifications for this time. But what I liked about it was you can set it so it doesn't send you text, but it does when people call you. And so I know when people call me, and so that was huge. When I started taking it off, my rate of answering went from like 100% to straight to 0, bro. Because my phone's just in my pocket. But I like that. There's just a bunch of micro things like that.
Was it really inaccurate with its ratings? I didn't know that.
Steps are probably accurate. I mean, calories, of course, are going to be because
right.
Everything calories are going to be really inaccurate.
I don't know if you ever used it for it, but I was really excited getting it to actually track my sleep because it has the REM cycles and everything.
From what I understand, I don't know how accurate that is. I think it's. I think it's pretty accurate, probably. Maybe.
I think so. I mean, I don't really know. How do you even know if it's inaccurate? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is accurate unless you go for a sleep study.
I liked it. Like, for hours of sleep, that's pretty accurate, I noticed. And I can just speak from experience. Like, when I was actually asleep from, like, the day, because you can kind of tell, like, that was pretty accurate. And so you can go in the app and, like, determine, how have I been sleeping lately. I used to do that before my sleep schedule just went into the drain, bro.
What happened?
Oh my goodness, bro. I was so thrilled that I went to sleep last night. So I made a mistake and consumed probably a gram of caffeine yesterday.
God.
On accident. Because I just...
1,000 milligrams?
That's right. That's right. Probably close to it. And so I was struggling during the PMs, bro.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to drive back. I'm going to need the caffeine. All 1,000 milligrams. But I didn't end up driving back until right now. But, so I was home at my dorm, and I was, like, trying to sleep, and I just couldn't do it. Like, the caffeine was putting me in, like, worlds that I didn't even know I could be in, brother. I was in, like... Do you remember the Minecraft update for April Fools where they did, like, a bunch of different dimensions?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was feeling. And so, I ended up watching... Pro tip, dude. You know Korsgrazeg?
Korgesegg?
Yeah.
The German scientific guy?
Yeah. So
I love that guy. Korgesegg.
I love him. Has very good information. Would recommend...
Highly recommend.
W Scientist.
10 out of 10 from me.
10 out of 10 for me too. It's
He's
it's
OG.
like
He's been there for like 14 years.
yeah, it's like Eli 5 for science.
Yeah.
That's great. And so I was watching. He did an hour-long video of like the Earth from like 4.5 billion years ago when it started till now.
Love that video.
And he did like a real time. Have you seen it?
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, he did like a real time like zoom of it, and it was like music, and he didn't talk often, but he talked a little bit, and it was just so calming. I was just watching it, and then I just fell asleep, bro. And when I woke up at 7:14 a.m. this morning, and I saw light in my shutters instead of darkness, I was over the moon, dude. I was so happy to not have pulled like the third all-nighter in a row.
So you don't crash after taking caffeine? That's impressive. If I took more than 300 milligrams, I'd just have a horrible crash after 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah. I would just, the caffeine, like, it would hit me, I'd feel the caffeine, everything. And then after the caffeine starts to slow down, and then I just get a crazy, like, it's like a sugar crash almost, You just get super tired, you get super lethargic. You don't get that?
No, I mean, I'm normal, so I just...
That's fair.
I'll take caffeine and be energetic, and then I'll crash, but I won't. I'll be like jittery. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just kind of sit there and like contemplate my life. It's just like, why did I do this? I can't do anything. But no, I didn't. I don't do that.
Interesting.
I just really like the taste of energy drinks, bro. I saw a TikTok of a guy who made a zero caffeine energy drink, and I'm like, bro, this is the type of niche thing that I need.
You should get it and try it. I'm curious, not to interrupt you, but I'm curious if you've conditioned yourself to like the taste because of the feeling you get after, and you just don't even realize it.
Oh, dude, I don't
Because
think me. I
It
mean,
could
I don't
be.
really get a feeling after anymore.
Really?
From like singular energy drinks.
interesting.
Like I need to.
Do you drink it every day?
What's up?
You normally
I
have
didn't
'em-
hear you.
You normally have them every day?
I just have hearing
Oh, yeah.
problems.
Yeah, it's
Moving
probably
on
all
to
the
the next
caffeine.
segment. Basically,
Wow.
dude, you know what? Speaking about Apple, something that I really annoys me about Apple. You ever be waking up?
Occasionally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you got like your snooze button,
Yeah.
or like so hold on, let me try that again. The iPhone like wakes you up, right?
Right.
And then the alarm will go off, and then the snooze button encapsulates the entire screen, and then if you want to just turn the alarm off
Tiny
to
button at the
start your
bottom,
day, it's
yeah.
the tiny button on the bottom.
Right.
And so I have to like because you're just waking up, you really have to like dial it in like with your eyes to like be able to see that button, and then just try to click it.
Yeah.
How does that benefit them financially?
I wonder if it's a lot of people used to press the stop button thinking it was the snooze, and they kept getting mad at Apple like, hey, I missed this important meeting because I clicked this button thinking it was the snooze. And so they just make it a big button, so then they can't blame Apple if you press snooze, you know. You can't blame Apple. The snooze button was big right there, you know. You can't blame them if you fell asleep and it didn't ring you again. Because
Really?
I like it sometimes. Because sometimes, every once in a while, I'll like get up and I'm like, okay, I'm up, I'm ready, and then I click stop, and then I end up falling back asleep like before I even notice it.
I don't know, dude.
So-
It annoys me because what I'll do is I'll wake up, and then I'll hit, I'll like think I'm hitting the off button, but I'll hit snooze, and then I'll like have concluded in my head, oh, that wasn't the off button. That was like while I'm trying to
Yeah.
go back to sleep, that wasn't the off button. That was snooze. I guess I'll just wait 15 more minutes. You know what I
Right.
mean, or 8 minutes or whatever it is. And then the worst part is when I don't even know I hit snooze, I get out of bed and then I'm just like walking, and then it just goes off in my pocket, bro.
Oh, it's the worst when you're like mid shower and it goes on. You
Yeah.
have to contemplate. Okay, do I just listen to this for the entire shower, or do I get out and press it and the whole floor is
It
wet?
ruins your
Right.
day, bro. You could be having the best
Right.
possible day, and it just ruins everything.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a problem, but I don't know. It's saved me more than it's hurt me, I think, most times.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
you struggle to wake up, you've been telling me.
Yeah, it's been actually pretty good recently. I'm gonna be
Really?
honest with you. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm gonna-
you told me you were struggling to wake up, and then I heard your alarm, and I'm like, no wonder you're struggling to wake up. It was like the most soothing thing I've ever. I was falling asleep to your alarm, bro.
It was so angelic.
I don't understand. Of course, you can't wake up to that, bro.
It was, it used to be 21 Savage for the longest time. I used to wake up to A Lot by 21 Savage. I still like the song, but for a while it kind of made me hate it for a little bit because I associated it.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. Never make your favorite song your ringtone because you're gonna end up hating it.
Nope.
That's life advice.
Good
I
life
can't talk about
advice.
quantum computing, but I can talk about that kind of stuff.
W
you know?
life advice, bro. I've been saying that, dude.
Yeah.
W something. It's
you've been-
not very funny. I actually don't even like that I said it.
Really?
No,
I say it every once in a while.
I say it often, a couple times a day.
I like it.
Like
huh?
I've said like 3 times on the podcast.
I just I'm fine with W, but I hate the L because I'm a positive
I hate
guy.
that
you know,
too,
like what do you
bro.
mean L? Like who you hating on?
L claim. I've
Yeah.
gotten that a couple. L statement.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean L statement?
L take.
L take. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's like the
Now W take.
W.
That was a
Nah.
good take, dude. That must have been a good
That
take.
reminds me of the middle school, or maybe it was high school. But do you remember when somebody would say something and then somebody else would be like, "Who asked?" Oh, I hate
Oh
that.
my
bro.
goodness,
that was the
dude.
worst.
Oh my goodness! Because the
Hate
worst
it.
part was they were right. Nobody asked.
Well, I hate it because a lot of times it's people just, expressing, just stuff they're interested in. You know, I don't care if nobody asked. Saying who asked is not good for the person. It's not going to make them feel good. You're making them feel like shit for talking about something they enjoy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree.
And it happened all the time. I hate it. I never used it. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I don't think we should penalize people from talking about things they're interested in.
That's something I've noticed a lot. Like, people just be talking about what they're interested in, and people will just, like, bully them for it, bro.
Right. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Especially because you're not, especially if it's not something that you're hurting other people for, you know, and that's most hobbies out there. Why are you shitting on it? How much time do you have on your
I
hands
know.
if you're shitting on somebody else's hobby, you know?
I agree. I think that's crazy.
That's scary to me. That just goes back to,
Have you experienced that? I feel like that kind of stopped at high school, at least for me. Like, I don't really experience that too much at college. Where like, I don't see people, even like as a third party looking in. I just, and maybe this is, I don't know. Actually, no, this is just what I've experienced. Like,
Right.
I feel like people are just a lot more like in their own lane at college, to where it's like, I don't see too much like classic bullying as I would in like middle and high school.
me
You
neither.
know what I mean?
Me neither. I didn't get that in college. At high school, I still had it a little bit. I mean, just in general. But in college, people, like you said, you know, they go their own lanes.
Yeah, not even to me, just like being like a third party looking in. I just haven't seen like I haven't seen people be genuinely mean to other people, except for like one experience.
And most of
But-
the time, people like will call it out now. They won't even
Exactly.
Like, they'll be honest.
Which
you
I
know?
like,
I think
dude.
the only form of that kind of stuff that I see still often is just disclusion. You know, just if they
Oh,
don't like
sure.
if they don't like the person, they'll be nice to their face, and then they just won't invite them to anything. And that's probably the only thing I can think of. It's like classic. You know,
Yeah.
letting or just keeping people out of their
I
comfort
agree.
zone. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. So if you're
Shit
like
happened to me.
going into college, you know, you're senior in high school, at least in our experience, like people are really nice. Like
And a lot of times people will want to hang out even though they don't always say it. I feel like people can, like there's a lot of people out there, and actually me included. You know, I went through this in college, but I wouldn't, like if I wasn't invited to something, I wouldn't ask to go. You know what I mean? And a lot of people at the college that I go to, they don't really think about, you know, who asking other people, I suppose. And maybe this is very general, but I guess there were a lot of times that I try to focus a lot on okay, who can we include in this that's not seeming to want to go, but try to include them, you know, because they might not always message you if they're not doing anything. So I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent, but you know, just try to include people. They're not always going to be in your face about how they're feeling. So to kind of just think ahead. You know, bullying is not going to be as bad in college, but there's still some things to look out for.
At least for me, I mean, I experienced it, or I didn't experience. I was partying. I watched it happen to like somebody else, but like,
Bystander.
also not to their face. Like I was with which I don't actually usually do. It just kind of happened. It was me, another dude, and like 6 other frat dudes
Wow.
at in a dining hall, and we were talking about this dude's roommate. The not frat dude's roommate, and then they were just like bashing on this kid just because he was like they were bashing on him for like the weirdest things.
Yeah.
And it's just because he was the type of person who's like, yeah, he's a little quieter. He, you know, I think he was in like the chess club or whatever, like that type of character, like classic. And then they use words like freak, you know what I mean? And that honestly, when I heard that, like I think one of them said, yeah, I never met the freak. Like that really got me upset, and like really upset. Like that is crazy to me.
Yeah,
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I get that all the time, or not all the time, but that I see that happening often. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd go to the library with a couple of friends, you know, because I'm on the volleyball team, and I'd go with a couple of friends. You know, they'd just be talking about other people on the team, and I'm just like, my philosophy with this, and I've tried to live as this, you know, for as long as I know it. Don't say anything behind somebody's back that you wouldn't say to your face. You know what I mean? And I said this multiple times at college too. You know, at the library, I'm like, I just either A, stay quiet, or B, be like, listen, have you guys talked to him yet? You know, like if you're explaining all of this stuff that you have wrong with him, or that you think is wrong with him, right? Have you talked to him yet, or are you just in the face being completely nice and being a respectful person, which is what they do. You know, they're nice. I mean, I wouldn't say they're like too conversative, but you know, they'll talk to the person and they'll act like they're completely fine. And they act like they don't have any problems, and then when they get behind the back, all of a sudden they don't like the person, and that just seems completely backward. That seems fake to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, that is
yeah.
And
it's literally
I
fake.
think that that's like an early stage of what I hear. I'm 20 years old. What I hear it happens like in the workplace and like in adulthood, of where I mean, you don't see too many adults bullying adults, but you do see adults talking behind
Right.
other adults' back, and I think that's the evolution of that.
I hate that.
So I think it's really important for us and for other people in their younger age to develop a minimum standard of like, if you don't, which is exact. I completely agree with what you said. Like, if you're not gonna say it behind their if you're not gonna say it to their face, don't say it behind their
Right.
back. And it's also like, you can say, like, if somebody's doing something you don't like and you have a good reason for that, I'm a big proponent for like, tell them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, completely.
Go talk to the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think people get upset and worried that what their opinion will offend the person, and even if it does, even if it makes them sad, even if it causes them some short-term pain, in my opinion, it's better to tell them than to leave it, because then they won't change, they won't grow. And also having the I guess emotional intelligence to go, this is where I'm at with you, what are your thoughts? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you did a good thing, why'd you do it? And if they have a good reason, it means that you're wrong too as well.
Right. And if you're scared, and if you think that going up is going to offend them, and you're too scared to go up to them, then you shouldn't be talking.
Exactly.
Behind.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a big one for me. I'm glad we agree on that.
Mhm.
It's easy to not think about, especially when you're with a group and you're talking about somebody. You can just be like, oh, I remember he did this. Like, oh, like,
Yeah.
this is bad. Because
Yeah.
it's very easy to join in on those kinds of conversations. But you need to be aware of that. Just try to prevent it.
Mm-hmm. Completely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Switch up. You ready? What age would you want to have kids at?
Ooh.
And how many? I don't know if you've
We've
even
talked
thought
about this
it.
before. I just
Maybe.
want to spam children, dude. I want
Really?
to have as many as the wife will let me.
Hell
and then
yeah.
adopt as many as the wife's willing to have, and then adopt as many as they're willing to have, and then just bam, as many kids. And stop when I can, either when she wants to stop or when I can't financially afford it. But the answer is as soon as humanly possible.
Really?
As soon as I find somebody who I would like to marry, and as soon as I am in a financial position where I can actually afford it, which won't be for probably another 5 to 10. So, I mean, I'm 20 now, late 20s, early 30s, would be when I assume I'd be in a financial position to handle kids, and also have, but I want to have kids like
As many
yesterday.
as you
if
can?
I could,
Wow.
Yeah, dude, so many.
It's a lot of kids, man.
I'm okay with it. It's only a problem if I can't financially afford it, or if I'm reaching. Like, if I can only afford to have 2 kids, I'm only gonna have 2 kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I want to have as many as I can handle.
So let's say, hypothetically, you end up getting rich at 25. You're cool with just watching 10 kids for the rest of your life? I guess it'll only be 18 years.
Yeah, well, it'd be 18.
It'd be like longer.
Yeah, it'd be 28.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, only if I had if I had a wife to partner with, then yeah. But and then maybe I'd spread it out so all 10 aren't living in the same household at the same time. You know what I mean? But yeah, 100%.
Is there anything you still want to do that's big, or just anything in general in life? And do you think having that many kids would prevent you from doing it?
100%, yeah. And so that's also another factor, actually, now that you mention it. That's a good point, is
Right.
that if I want to, if there are things that I want to experience, I think work that I want to get done, kids would prevent that 100%.
Right.
And I would want to dedicate my time. And so that's kind of going back to like the financially afforded thing. I want to be able to work hard enough in my 20s and early 30s so to where I can taper late 30s, early 40s. I never want to stop working. Like, at least at this point in my life, I never want to retire. Like, I always want to be working on something. And right now, I'm just trying to build something that I can enjoy doing. You know what I mean? And I'm very much so in the beginning stages of, I don't really know yet. But the goal is to create a job for myself, or create my own job that I enjoy doing enough to where I never want to stop. So I would still work with kids, but I would work less hard on the job and dedicate that backfill time
Right.
to the kids.
I see. That's a good answer. I could see you've genuinely thought about it. I am not the same answer. But I think that's okay. I think 3 kids is good for me. I think dream is like maybe, I'd say, an older set of twin boys and a younger girl. So then I can still have the boy girl. I still get the full parent experience. the twin boys, because I always wanted a twin when I was a kid. I think that just would be awesome if I had somebody my age that I could go around with, and then maybe if they're older, then they can watch over the sister while she goes through school, and that's how I want to do it. I haven't thought about names yet. When I originally thought of this, I honestly thought it was going to be like 23, 24 that I had kids, but as I get older, I realize
there's no shot, dude. I'm not even in a relationship right now. There's no way.
I don't know. I think for me, it would all depend on my financial.
Yeah, and I also would want to continue working and experiencing life at 24, 25. I feel like that's young to have kids. Like, yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. I mean, I also want. It's really important for me to and I can accept the alternative, but to be young when I have kids, I want to enjoy, going and doing stuff with them, and the older I get.
Do you think, like, young 30s is still young?
Yeah, I still consider that young. For having children, I still consider that.
Because you can still do things
young.
at
Maybe
that age.
Maybe a little bit older. I mean, they'll be like, by the time they turn 18, if you get them at 30, you'll be like 48. So, if you can, I still feel like you can do pretty much everything.
I think that comes down to how you treat your body now and in your 30s. Which I definitely need to work on. I haven't gone to the gym in like 7 weeks. Bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 6-7 weeks.
I've been starting to hit it at my apartment at.
Oh really?
At college.
Yeah.
I'll just go down and hit a quick workout. It's crazy the change in everything just going to the gym has. I mean, the positive aspects.
Well, it does. Yeah.
I mean, just from a day of going to the gym, you start looking in the mirror. You're like, dang, that's bigger than yesterday. Yeah. I noticed genuinely after a couple of days, my voice started getting deeper. I'm serious.
You got more testosterone.
I didn't work out for a couple months, and then I had a couple of days where I worked out, and I was like, yo, yo. And like my chest would stick out a little bit. I'm more confident in general.
Yeah.
It's insane the amount of positive aspects that come from working out other than just your body getting better and you're healthier. That's like pretty much only positive, bro. Why don't I go every day? I'm just convinced myself.
Yeah, I just like the structure. I just have lacked structure as of late, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's rough. Do you think that, and there's another switch up again.
Sure.
And do you think that technology should be banned in elementary schools? I was thinking about this recently. Or do you think kids should be able to bring their phones in elementary schools?
No. I mean, I think they should bring their if they have a phone at 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 1st grade is crazy. But if they have a phone, I think they should bring it for like the safety. But no, I don't think they should have it in like their class.
Right. Like for me, when I got to high school, we were allowed to use our phones, at lunch and everything. But when I think back, I don't think that would have been a good idea if I did that in elementary school. So I guess when is it right to start really giving them the freedom and doing that?
What's like as a parent?
No, as a school system. When should we allow them to have that freedom? Because I think it's a very sensitive. Because if we do it too early, they're not gonna try. Maybe they will, but I don't know.
I went to a high school that didn't permit phones even at lunch and throughout the day.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a sticking point.
I didn't know that.
At the school. You just get it taken for the day. And looking back, I mean, some people were really bothered by it. But so two things. One, I think it was a positive because it forced us to talk to each other, which I think is huge, even in high school. And two, there was a bonding experience about complaining about not having the phone that I think is actually really beneficial.
Common enemy.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I think elementary, middle, and high school, if I had it my way, and again, enforcing this is hard, right? Very hard, especially in big high schools. My school is pretty small, so it's easy. But I don't think phones should be used at all at lunch. I think you just talk to people. Just talk to your person next to you. You know what I mean? People, especially in college, I've noticed, it's so weird to just go, yo, I'm Alexander, to, the person next to you.
It makes me want to go back to college in the 80s, 90s and see what it was like.
I'm curious. I feel like there'd be so much more talking.
It would just be crazy.
Yeah, I feel like there'd just be, you sit down, and you just, freaking, I don't think they dapped up back then, but you just, shake your freaking neighbor's hand and just, start talking.
I mean, college is already the time of my life, but it must have been even crazy, even better not having the technology.
I know.
Or maybe maybe flip phone era. I think that's perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Where you can call somebody if you need to, but it's not like you can play Minecraft on your iPhone, you know? It's just for emergencies. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be...
There were always like mobile game consoles, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be the 90s kid pulling up with a PS Vita.
Yeah.
PS Vita, something like that.
A Game Boy soon.
Exactly. Dude, I used to do that in class. Or I didn't bring the Game Boy, but I would download Game Boy games on my calculator.
Oh really?
So I'd just be playing
you were that-
Pokemon in
yeah,
math class. I was
I
that
never
kid.
did that, bro. Yeah, my high school was too straight. If I got caught doing that, it'd be game over, bro. I just wouldn't be able to use a calculator on my test. It'd
Right.
just be like, oh well,
You gotta
You're cooked.
hand do it now.
GG.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Timothy Chalamet's speech at the award? So he
What
got
awards?
a SAG award, I think. It was his first significant award for acting ever, Timothy Chalamet. And he did a speech that got a lot of controversy, but I actually really liked it. And I think a lot of people also really liked it. There was a couple of negative people saying negative things, but I actually really liked it. It was like a big turn. Like nobody in Hollywood had said the speech before. Basically, he said, and TLDR was, listen, I want to be one of the greats. He said this in his acceptance speech. I want to be one of the greats. I look up to the greats, and I want to be one of them. And this award doesn't signify that, but it's a stepping stone, or it's a fuel in the fire, I think he said. And I really like that as far as like being goal oriented and like.
Why do people dislike it?
There were a couple of opinions about like it just wasn't appropriate to say at an award show, and people and someone on like a TV show said you should have kept that in your diary. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just difference of opinions, of difference like of the way you want it. But that actually kind of hit home for me a little bit, because I've gone from talking about my goals to basically not talking about them at all, and I think that's like a good thing, but I knew that if I was on that stage, I would have totally like gone off the rails and said the most outlandish things about goals, bro. I would have messed it up, dude. And so it's like finding the fine line between being humble about your goals and not going crazy with like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and like just like being understanding like the goals doesn't really matter without the systems, without the work, because I think it's really easy to get caught up in the goal. Or this is just at least what the speech made me think about. Like it's very easy to get caught up in the goal, caught up in the ambition, and think you're great because of the ambition. But that doesn't actually mean anything unless you act on it. And that's what I'm learning right now. That's what I've been learning. I think I've learned that lesson. I think. I don't know, probably not. But I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to go, honestly, after this podcast. I'll go and watch it. It seems...
It was a short speech. You should watch it.
It seems motivational. I'm not a big... to be fair, I haven't seen him in anything. I don't even know what he got the award for. I think he was in Dune or something. It might have been it.
Well, I don't know what he got. I just watched the speech.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fine line. I think a lot of celebrities, bigger people, they won't even try to go on the. You know what? I don't think that's right. I was gonna say something, but I don't think it's right.
What were you going to say?
I was gonna say they don't even like try to talk about goals. Like they end up just thanking a lot of people in their acceptance. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to get anybody mad, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I said that, and then I thought of Kanye's tweet, and I was just like, that is just not true.
Gosh, dude, holy crap!
I guess we'll never know. That's so tough.
I know, dude, that went crazy. That was a long time ago.
I always wonder if they get their speeches written for them or they write them themselves.
I think they write them themselves.
You think?
Because I think they think very specific. They'd be thinking like their directors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like very specific people that only that. Like I think they write them themselves. And sometimes they don't come prepared with the speech.
Really?
Like a lot of times you hear, I didn't expect to win, so I didn't get a speech. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny. That's kind of sad, man.
Yeah.
You can pull up. You gotta have some hope in yourself.
I guess so.
Yeah. You got anything else on the iPad?
Yeah, dude. Are you out?
No, I still got more.
Oh, okay. Dude, I was walking through the mall the other day. Bro. You know what gets me so upset more than anything else?
Butters your biscuits. What's that?
Butters my biscuits, bro. When people just, like, you're walking, and then you have to, like, grind to a snail's pace because the person in front of you is literally walking at 2 inches a year, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane. People walk so slow.
It's always the groups that take up the most space.
Exactly.
In the
Like
walkway,
they'll like hold their hands and go like a great wall of do not pass and just keep going.
Right.
And if I want our brand to represent anything, I want it to represent walk faster as a collective.
Yeah, I still get mad at that as well. I used to get really mad at it.
I'd be hitting some people.
Until I realized
Kidding.
two things. One is we're actually, a lot taller than the average population. We do have longer legs, like we
Shoot,
genuinely walk
dude.
faster. That's
Shoot.
just it's a fact,
bro,
We
shoot.
walk faster on
Keep
average.
going.
And two is after I got a girlfriend, I realized how slow people walk, and just on average. Like I think people just walk slower on average. I don't.
You think
you
we
can't
just walk
really-
fast?
Yeah, I think we just walk fast, and that's sad because this is like normal speed for me. This is average speed.
That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying,
It's,
bro.
If anything, it's a little
I'm
slow. Like I
walking.
want to go faster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If it wasn't so weird, I'd be like speed jogging kind of just to get to my location.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not like it's physically demanding on me. Like
Uh-huh.
I can walk, so I just want to get there faster. Why would I not want to get there faster?
Yeah. I don't know, bro.
Enjoy the journey. Yeah, all right, Brad.
No,
I don't know. Well, your mall, are you talking about the mall? We went to a mall that was pretty much just a circle,
Yeah.
right? It could have just been their like 40th lap. They're still lost. They got to conserve their energy if they want to get out of there, bro.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, dude, because when it's big crowds and like you can't pass. No, the worst part is when like you're walking here and then there's somebody else walking and then there's another person coming this way, and so you have to like time whether you want to like go
Yeah.
around them or like, and then it's like the awkward where you have to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it grinds my gears, bro.
Like
Grinds
that,
my gears.
what's it called? Like the ADHD hip thing where you get really close to a wall and then you just like move your hip to skirt around it. You ever do that? I used to do that all the time. Like I do that all the time walking around my house. Like I won't move for something. I'll just like bend my hip as I'm walking.
What are you talking about? You got to think about it.
Well, no. I guess it's like an ADHD thing. I used to see this all the time, where you're walking and you don't even like move your body. You kind of just like side skirt away from something. I do that when I'm walking through people. I get very close sometimes.
Whoa, I don't understand.
I see. Well, if this was a video, it'd be easy to show you. But it's
Dude,
like
this
you're
one's-
walking towards, like you're just walking in your house, right? And you're gonna hit like the corner of your kitchen island or something, right? Instead of taking a step to your right and continuing to walk, like you keep walking and all you move is your hip to the side to dodge it. Like you're too lazy to move. So you just like people.
Man,
if you guys know what I'm talking about, say something in the comments because I bet you people know what I'm talking about.
I don't know, dude.
All my
that
ADHDers out there. No,
That
I'm
sounds
just
pretty
kidding.
insane.
I'm just kidding.
You know what else grounds my gears, dude?
What's that?
And this is like, I experienced this, and I haven't experienced this for a while, and I experienced it like on Thursday when I was going to class. You know when your professor, like, dude, so let me paint the picture.
Yeah.
I'm in philosophy class. I literally want to jump out a window, and there is no window. So I would have to jump into the wall, hope that it'd be a whole thing. And so I'm in philosophy class, and I think we're like, it's been the longest class period. It's an hour and 15-minute class. I think we're almost done.
Yeah.
And then the professor says the following. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
It's time to
Hell
go.
yeah.
I'm packing up. I like close my computer.
Yep.
I'm packing up. And then he's like, whoa, well, because everybody's doing it and nobody pack up. I'm like, what do you mean? Bro, she didn't mean wrap up the day. She meant wrap up the specific section we were on. And then I checked my phone and there were still 30 minutes left in class. The way that my morale, dude, I felt defeated.
She's teasing you.
I was like this, dude. I felt so defeated. I was like genuinely contemplating just like walking. You know what I mean? Just leaving.
yeah.
Because people do it.
Right.
I've never done it. I think that's really disrespectful.
Me neither.
But I was about to.
Yeah, that was the closest you've been to considering it.
Yeah. It got me, dude.
Hey, yeah, there's been a lot of lectures where I've debated doing it just because of I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use this past. If this is even for the test, and I'm not going to use this for life. Why am I here? For me, it's the respect to the teacher. Like that's the only thing keeping me from walking out half the time. If they didn't care, And they probably don't care, you know, like we're just some random student. But
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
I care. I
Yeah,
care. It's like
yeah.
how I want to. It's like how do I want to present myself? How do I
Right.
want to live my life? I
And,
don't want to be that.
and you know, I see the teacher. I mean, the entire class. They're teaching to a class where they're just on their phones. You know, they're not even looking up. So I want to be the few people who actually seem engaged and they're not wanting to leave. You know.
Yeah.
Like give them life back into school.
I try to always be respectful like that. I agree. Yeah, I had one professor in particular, my sociology professor, if you're watching, is such a good professor. Like she is like, I don't know, there's just something about her lectures that are just so engaging.
What does she
like,
do different?
It's a good. I was actually trying to think about this. Like, what is she doing differently? I don't know. I think there's. So I'll tell you what she does. I don't know what she does different. I'll tell you what she does. She's first of all, she's very articulate. She speaks English. She doesn't have an accent. My goodness, dude. Holy
so
crap.
many teachers have an accent.
I know, bro. It's like you got to pass like a minimum bar. I don't know.
Proportionate, yeah.
And so she knows her stuff. She talks directly to the class. You'll notice she like goes in rows with her eye contact, and she asks so many questions, a ton of questions. Class is very involved. She writes stuff on the board often. So what I find, at least for me, the best types of lectures are the type where the professor's teaching and then goes and manually writes on the board and then goes back to teaching, versus like the professor teaching and then flips a slide and then continues teaching. For some reason, I feel much more engaged when the professor actually has like a marker and then they're writing stuff down. And then I can like, you write some stuff down on the board, you write some extra stuff. That's at least for me what really
I'm the same exact way.
makes a good or a bad lecture. And I think you can also tell like all these teachers have PowerPoint. Like I'm sure all their curriculum comes with PowerPoints. Like the book has a PowerPoint, but they choose to not because they care more. So I also think the teachers that care less are the ones that just like flip through the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's a pretty high amount of teachers that I've had so far that are like that. I mean, it's just lectures.
I was actually really surprised when I first came to college. I was under the impression, because I mean, I don't go to like I go to a pretty good school, not like amazing, but not terrible either. Probably like a average, maybe a little bit above, like average. It's a state school, so it's like not anything crazy. But I expected the professors to be a lot better than they were.
Right.
Like I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like the gen ed classes. I don't know.
No, I mean, I agree. I kind of had that too. Like, okay, I'm paying this much. I expect a well-formed class.
My high school teachers were better than this, bro.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. It's just lectures the same as high school.
Yeah.
And that's
sometimes sometimes lectures are so meaningless that if they don't, because the problem with the philosophy class, bro, is that all our grades are just in-class assignments, and so you have to go to class. Like, I can't not go to class, because it's like in-class assignments, it's just a 0 if you don't do it. You have to hand it to the teacher. There's like 10 kids in the class, so they all, like 20, and so he knows everybody's names. You can't skip. It's a whole thing. Oh my goodness, philosophy, bro.
philosophy.
I picked that class. Like, I like philosophy. Let's do it.
I liked philosophy.
Biggest mistake of my life, bro.
Mine was very boring, but I liked the information. You know,
I like the
I
information,
probably would
too,
liked the
for the
information
most
no
part.
matter how it was presented,
Yeah.
but they just did it in the worst way. It was just
Oh,
pages
me
of
too,
reading.
yeah. Pages of reading.
Yep.
Just slides.
Yes.
I've learned one thing from
Sucks.
Socrates that I really like in that philosophy class. So in Plato Credo or Critico, I don't even know. In one of the books, Socrates talks about how it's like injustice versus justice, and how you should never. His thesis is that you should never. Well, he has many theses, but one of them is that you should never commit an injustice to an injustice. An example of this is if you're wrongfully imprisoned, he thinks you shouldn't break out, because the law should be like, if everybody did that, then the law would crumble and there'd be no minimum standard. I actually really like that as far as like holding yourself to a minimum. Well, this is kind of me, but like holding myself to a minimum standard of like, nobody's going to see me not break out of prison, but I know, you know what I mean? And I think that's like, that was really inspirational for me when I read that for the first time, and I basically wrote my entire test just on that one.
Nice.
Which I wasn't supposed to do, but you know, I did.
cares, yeah.
But I actually
I enjoyed that class because of the real world applications it actually had. Mm-hmm. And I'm praying that as we go on, I think the lectures are going to get less and less, hopefully, because they'll get more specialized classes. Because right now we're in a lot of gen eds, and I have a feeling the gen eds are probably just going to be lectures. I mean, I didn't want it to happen, but I wasn't too surprised that some of those earlier classes, ones that just everybody has to take, it's just a lecture.
Attendance is a big thing that I didn't expect. Like, I didn't
Attendance?
expect
Me
them
too.
to always take attendance. I was actually talking to my parents about this,
Yeah.
and they were like surprised.
Yeah.
This it didn't isn't how it always was.
I don't know why attendance is mandatory.
Yeah.
If you're paying to be there, right? Well, it's not
We'll
their
complain about
responsibility.
attendance,
It's not their responsibility to keep you attending. You know,
That's what I'm
it's like
saying.
it's not the law for you to go. It's your choice to go. So if it's your choice not to go, I think that should be okay. That's
Yeah, I
genuine. I'm
agree.
serious.
I agree, and it gets into like the like when you're sick and stuff too. It's a whole hassle.
Right.
But I
Why-
completely agree. I
why are you
think my
babying
parents were
us?
also really shocked about like we did not have to like sign a sheet to get out of class. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I feel
what's
like
going on
college is
here?
getting more and more like they're babying us almost.
Yeah,
You know.
which is not good because they baby us enough at college. I feel
For
like.
real.
Yeah.
I mean, you're forced to like in my college. You're forced to live in the dorm for a year.
Oh, sure.
At least in my
I
college,
actually
you could
kinda
have a
like that,
car. At least in mine, you could have a car. But a lot of colleges out there, you're just not allowed to bring your car for the first year, and that sucks. And you know, I liked living in the dorm, but I don't think I should have been forced in the dorm for a year. I mean, the apartment that I'm living in right now, my friend had to go, you know, across the country to get this medical thing. Like he had to go through all of this procedures just to be able to live in an apartment on the first year, you know. And why are you forcing him to live in the dorm for a year, you know? Like if that's what causes him to fail, then that's on him. And it's the same as the attendance. If them not going causes them to fail, then I think that's their choice as an adult at college. And so if you're still babying them, then how is this different? How are we adults, you know? That's just how I think about it. And I'm sure the kids are getting stupider. At least that's what they're saying. I'm sure we're.
What do you think's causing that? Are kids actually getting stupider? Or?
Shoot, I don't know, man. I mean, listening to people read out loud in class is, what's the word?
Demoralizing.
Depressing. It's depressing. For how did you make it through the public school system?
How did you make it through elementary,
Right.
4th grade reading class?
Yeah, when they're having trouble with official, it's like, bro.
Of.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, how is this possible?
Yeah.
How did you get this far with not being able to read? I don't get it. And you know, technology, of course, that's a factor. You know, I think that's probably a big factor. But man, they're dumb.
Dude, I think it's a combination of AI and COVID.
Yeah.
Because people be cheating with COVID, and then ChatGPT came in at like the worst time.
Right.
And so, well, like right after COVID, ChatGPT came in, so it was like cheating with COVID and then cheating with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna be so scared to go on
Dead.
doctor's appointments in 20 years knowing the doctor's graduated. Like knowing they're Gen
I
Z.
don't know, bro. That's scary as well.
Oh, GG.
Because I'd be using AI for like my reading assignments. Ooh.
Do you hear that?
Maybe I
You hear
shouldn't say that. I don't use AI for anything unless it's allowed, and then I will use it.
Our AI is allowed in our English assignments. We're allowed to use
Oh,
it.
yeah?
As long as you source it. As long as you cite it. You could say, I got this from AI.
Yeah, AI is not allowed in my English assignments, so I would never use it under any
That's fair.
circumstances or conditions. Well, I don't know why you're making that face. I would never use it. Dude, you want to hear something crazy?
What's up?
There must be a guy with infinite world records. You want to know why?
I thought about this all the time. Go ahead.
Because
Why?
if you were the first person to break 2 world records, you would get a world record. You've thought.
Yeah.
And then you'd be the first person to break 3 world records.
What?
And then you get a world record. And then the first person to break 4 world records, you get a world record. That world record for that. And then you infinitely world record. Dude, imagine that guy.
Infinite world records. I'd have the biggest smile on my face.
That's what
And
I'm saying.
nobody can ever beat it again.
Yeah,
The first
literally.
person ever.
You
again.
can talk to Guinness. They know them by G.
Yeah.
Hey G, get me more plaques, world
Right.
record plaques, and he can just make a house out of world record. Dude, like it'd be like having 999 mats in Fortnite,
Yeah.
dude. You could just have infinite Guinness World Record plaques, and you could just like parkour off
That'd
of
be
them.
awesome.
And just like I want to go to the top of the Statue of Liberty. Call up G, get me 27,000 world record plaques, and then you just go.
Yeah. And then you can be a world record for most plaques built. Or like there's just records you can do. Records on records.
Yep.
I think Phineas and Ferb did a bit about that. I remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. That's honestly the
I
only
got that
reason
from
why,
Shane's.
why I
for
remembered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, I love that show, man. Phineas and Ferb. That was my whole childhood right
Never
there.
got into it.
Really? What shows did Johnny Test? What shows were you into?
Steven Universe,
Oh, that's a good
Johnny
one.
Test, which I wasn't really into that. Well, yes, I was.
Come
Steven, Johnny
on.
Test, the original Teen Titans.
Nice.
Ooh, what
Nice.
what did I watch as a kid?
Ben 10.
Ben 10
was
was a
big
huge.
into Ben
I was a
10.
huge Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
I was big into
mine
that.
as
Never
well.
got into like Adventure Time or anything like that.
Me neither. I didn't get into the Steven Universe until you put me on. Until after we
Yes,
met.
sir, dude. He was bullying, or bullying just wrong. Well, yeah, bullying about Steven Universe, and then he started
2
watching
months
it.
later, you hear me
Bro,
singing every single day.
I hear him because we were in Discord, and I'd be hearing him spamming every single song. He's putting a Discord bot in the chat just to play Steven Universe
Lo-fi,
lo-fi
yeah.
or whatever, bro.
Ugh.
What was the? Oh, and Ninjago, bro.
Ninjago.
The
Oh my
green
gosh, that
ninja,
one was so
dude,
good.
with the little energy,
Yeah.
and then he shoots it, bro.
Yeah, man, we're never gonna get that again.
No.
Childhood
But-
shows in general nowadays, I feel like they're just worse. And maybe that could just be me getting older, but like,
I can't be.
They
because
genuinely look lower quality.
Avatar: The Last Airbender has standed the test of time.
Right,
No,
still
that's
do.
okay. Hold on. Disregard what I was saying. That's a main thing, dude. Because Ben 10 Classic was animated so well, and now the newer Ben 10,
horrible.
dude. It's because they know they can get away with crappy animation because
Right.
the kids don't care. Like they didn't think about it back then. Like everything back then was animated so well, and now it's just
the stuff back then it
Garbage.
seemed like it was timeless. A and B
Yes.
was well animated. Like they put effort
they
and thought
tried
into it.
in
And
the
C
writing and
is,
everything.
and this you can see this with Pixar movies too. I think the best childhood shows are the ones where the parents can watch it and still be entertained. I
Yes,
think those are the
dude.
best ones. I think Pixar does a really, really good job making movies where the kid can watch it and enjoy it, but the parent can also watch it.
Yeah,
and-
like they have underlying meanings. Yep,
Exactly.
mhm.
I love that.
Pixar, that's probably
The best.
a big pillar in Pixar's success, was because of that.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to watch my nephew for the past week or so, and we've watched Cars like 6 times. And I'm not
can
gonna lie,
watch
bro, I like the
Cars?
movie. Huh?
He can watch Cars.
Lightning McQueen.
He can speak.
He's like, ka-chow. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I got him on my Pokemon gambling game, and so we'll open a pack, and we'll sit there, and we'll be like, big money, big money, big
Stop.
money. And he's doing it with me. He's like, big money, big money.
Starting them young on
Yeah,
gambling. You gotta
100%.
start their gambling addiction.
Exactly.
That's insane. That's crazy.
He loves Pikachu. Ugh.
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of people I'm talking to at college who have like sports betting gambling problems, dude.
yeah.
It's like
It's scary.
I won $40. That's $40 to put more into gambling, bro.
And those crypto gambling too. I see that a lot. Like stake. I don't know if you see that. Those advertisements. I mean, they're advertising everywhere now. But I mean, all you need, and I do not advocate this, but all you need is a VPN, and like anybody can do it. And I say that as a bad thing. You know, I don't think that anybody should be able to gamble, but it's crazy how young you can go. Like I think
know.
as soon as you turn 18, you can go get scratch tickets.
I think it's unless you're doing it, which I don't know. My opinion is that you need to like people our age have no place gambling in any circumstance in any way, ever, because that's not true.
I disagree. But
That's not true.
But continue.
I disagree too. I think if you're going to do it,
I think if you're going to do it, teach it in a healthy way.
yeah,
You can go have fun at gambling, but that doesn't mean you should go lose all your money. You know, I don't think. I mean, kids
yeah.
gamble all the time. Dave and Buster's. You know, I think that'd be saying arcades are
Yeah.
are probably bad too.
that's a good point.
I mean, we used to do. I mean, we have a tradition every Christmas. We'll get this big saran ball. Like we'll start the ball and we'll keep getting it bigger and bigger. And every once in a while we'll put like a scratch ticket and then a couple dollars in.
Yeah.
And so we have this game where somebody rolls dice, and if you get doubles, you have to pass it on to the next person. And if you have the ball, you're trying your best to unroll it and like get scratch tickets. And I have a lot of fun. I don't really think that type of gambling is inherently wrong as a
I
kid.
agree.
You know,
I agree. I disagree with what I said. I think actually Ninja gave really good advice on this. He was like, you just need to set yourself a limit and not
Right.
pass it. I think I agree with
everything's
or I
okay in
disagree.
moderation.
Yeah, I disagree with what I said. I think everything's okay in moderation, but the problem is that they don't set limits, and then they will, if they do, they'll just
Right.
like they'll delete it and then re-download it. And I think that's just a minimum standard for yourself.
Yeah, I think setting restrictions on underage gambling is very, very important.
Yeah.
But I don't know if. Well, I have nothing more. I think that's
Yeah.
all I have to that sentence. Setting restrictions is important in
It's
underage
also
gambling.
important, and I think it's also important just to reiterate the fact of how bad it can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's the gate. Sports betting is the gateway drug to wasting your life gambling.
I started gambling even younger than that. I mean, I used to CS:GO gamble. I'd put money into that.
So I
It's
gamble.
so easy now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
easy for kids to get into it. I mean, actually, CoffeeZilla posted a great video on that, exposing a lot of the problems with CS:GO gambling, but it's still really prevalent. I mean, it's billions of dollars of an industry.
I didn't see that it was that low. That's probably not gonna. That probably hasn't picked up like anything the whole time.
I mean, it was open for a while. It did close eventually,
Okay.
but
Can you move it higher up?
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
GG.
yeah, GG,
Sorry about
right?
the podcast audio, guys, for the whole podcast.
Yeah, I mean we're past an hour now. If you wanna,
We'll call it. Sorry about the audio, guys. I didn't see that until just now. My fault. Well, life goes on.
Yep.
I hope you all enjoyed. We're trying out a new format with the table. We're probably gonna keep it pushing with the table. Maybe get bigger seats, bro. I'm
right?
like falling, but yeah, I'm pumped about this table, dude. It's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good time. We've been away, bro, on YouTube across the board for a while. Just a scheduling error. Just a scheduling error, like truly, fundamentally. And so we're back. I know you missed us.
Yeah.
I know. But we're back. I don't think we'll take another break until we mess up schedules again.
Yep.
But yeah, you got anything?
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.
I actually really like the conversations. On
Me
that
too,
one.
dude. It was
I had a
much
lot of-
easier.
enjoyed
It
that
flowed.
So what?
It flowed because
Yeah.
because we had the stuff in front of us.
Yeah, that, and I think it's also just we haven't done it in a minute. We actually had stuff to talk about,
Yeah.
like actual current events and shit.
Yeah. Well, kind of current.
I mean, like the major on one, the
One thing, you don't need to say when you're switching topics, I'm gonna switch topics. Just
Okay.
switch it, and then the audience will just like it'll flow. Like I feel like if we mention it, then they'll be like, I don't know. I just don't think you need to say it. You know what I mean? It'll flow better when you don't say it. Just like just switch the topic whenever you want.
I won't on the next one, and we can watch to see how it goes. Bet that. All right. Time is it? 3:45.
Okay, so what did you want to do?
I'm gonna. If you want, we can plan out the rest of the week.
Okay, let's do it.
I bet.